Yo, what's up everyone, Starry right here, and welcome back to another NFL predictions video. We are on to week 16. Week 15 was a lot of fun. There was a crazy, like just a legendary NFL game that happened on Saturday, and that is my game of the week. That game was just crazy. I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. It was the Vikings 33-point comeback. An amazing game. I'm surprised I watched the whole thing. I'm very surprised. I really didn't think the Vikings were gonna come back, and but I just kind of stuck around and they actually did a comeback, and I was very surprised. You know, the Vikings have been a team that I haven't been that high on this whole season, so to see them do a comeback like that, you know, that really did open my eyes and just showed me a lot about their team. But another game that was very interesting as well is the Cowboys losing to the Jaguars in overtime. Cowboys, another team that I've been, you know, kind of iffy on, and they're kind of proving me right that, you know, they're still the Cowboys and they're going to do Cowboys things. So yeah, week 15 was kind of fun, but I think week 16 is going to be just as fun. But before we get into week 16 picks, make sure you like and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more NFL predictions videos. All right, so the first game is Thursday, and it is the Jaguars versus the Jets. And like we already talked about, the Jaguars had that amazing comeback, amazing win against the Cowboys, and the Jets had a very close game, a game that they really could have won. Like, it came down to a field goal. They could have won that game, and Zach Wilson looked kind of good, but yeah, they didn't win that game, and that game was against the Lions. And for this matchup, it looks like Zach Wilson's going to be quarterback again. Mike White is still dealing with injuries to his ribs. I think Zach Wilson played pretty decent on Sunday. Like I said, they really had a chance to win that game, and it was because of him. I really put it on their coach Saleh, because he was not calling timeouts. They had all their timeouts and they didn't call any timeouts, and calling a timeout would have helped tremendously, you know. So yeah, timeout management was like the biggest issue for them that game. However, when it comes to this game, I'm going to be taking the Jaguars. I may be overhyping that win against the Cowboys, but that win was very good. And man, the Jaguars are really like turning up this year. Like, this ended the part of the season, they're really turning up. Like, they had that amazing game against the Titans, and then now they have followed it up with this overtime win against the Cowboys. The Jaguars this season have just been so up and down. Their last few games have been against the Ravens. They won that game, and it was an amazing game, and I thought they would come out next week and then really have an amazing game as well, but then they got blown out by the Lions. It was 40-14, and then they followed that up with a 36-22 win against the Titans, and then they followed that up with a 40-34 win against the Cowboys. So yeah, the Jaguars have just been so up and down. They have great wins, and then they have really bad losses, but I think they're gonna have a really good win this week. I think they're gonna play really well, and I'm just gonna take them. Now we move on to the Christmas Eve games. It's a full slate of games this week. The first game is the Falcons versus the Ravens, and it's looking like Lamar Jackson is going to make his return this game, and with that information, I'm going to be taking the Ravens. Even off of injury, I still like Lamar Jackson. I still think he's a great quarterback. And you know, the Falcons, they're not even a winning team. They only have 5 wins on the season, and what I saw from Desmond Ridder last week against the Saints wasn't, you know, anything really to be excited about. I think he just played okay. I mean, it is his first start. You don't really, you know, it's just not enough to really judge him on. So yeah, for this game, I'm going to be taking the Ravens. After that is the Lions versus the Panthers. The Panthers are coming off that L to the Steelers. That was a great game for the Steelers, and not a great game for the Panthers at all. I think we held them to, I forgot, was it only like 21 yards rushing? Like, man, that was pretty good. Yeah, the Panthers had a very bad day, and the Lions are coming off that win that we already talked about with the Jets. A very close win. You know, they could have lost that game. Jared Goff had a huge throw to right that went for the touchdown. It was an amazing throw. You know, just kind of a crazy play. But yeah, the game was very close. They really could have lost that game. It came down to a missed field goal. However, when it comes to this game, I'm going to be taking the Lions. I still do like their offense. You know, the Jets have a great defense. You know, Sauce Gardner locked up. And if the Steelers can make the Carolina defense look very bad, then I think that Jared Goff and the Lions should take apart that defense, and they're fighting for a playoff spot, so I think they're playing with extra motivation. So I'm going to be taking the Lions. After that is the Bills versus the Bears. The Bears were in a close game last week against the Eagles. However, we do know that Jalen Hurts did get hurt in that game, and now it's looking like he's not even going to play, you know, this week. But you still got to give credits to the Bears for, you know, making that game very close. And the Bills are coming off a playoff type game against the Dolphins on Saturday. That game was very fun. A lot, it was snowing, there was snowballs thrown on the field. It was a fun game, and it was close as well. It came down to a field goal to win the game. But when it comes to this matchup, the Bills versus the Bears, I'm going to be taking the Bills. The Bills are literally just the better team, and yeah, I don't think I really gotta say much about this pick. After that is the Saints versus the Browns. The Browns are coming off that win, that 10-point win against the Ravens, and the Saints are coming off that win against the Falcons. This matchup is kind of hard to pick because Deshaun Watson hasn't really been playing, Deshaun Watson level. He's been just okay, and the Saints with Andy Dalton have just been kind of okay. They have their moments, but they're still not a team that I'm very sold on. However, for this matchup, I'm going to be taking the Saints. The Browns offense hasn't looked as good as I thought it would with Deshaun Watson being in the game. I thought he would take advantage of the Baltimore Ravens, and he really didn't. However, though, I wouldn't be surprised if he turned up against the Saints because the Saints haven't been that good as well, especially on defense. They've been just kind of okay, but I'm still going to be taking the Saints for this game. After that is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are coming off a very close game that went into overtime against the Texans. They did have a walk-off touchdown though after a Davis Mills fumble, which is just kind of the Texans way to do things. But yeah, it was a close game. The Texans actually made that game very close for the Chiefs. They're stopping them on like third downs and stuff. They were holding them. And the Seahawks are coming off that Thursday night game against the 49ers, where the 49ers just look like the better team. The Seahawks are kind of falling back to earth. Even if the Seahawks are playing as good as they were at the beginning of the season, I would still take the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just the better team. Even though they had that close game, but they're still the better team. They're the better team against the Texans, and they're the better team against the Seahawks. So yeah, give me the Chiefs for this one. I don't think they struggle again. After that is the Giants versus the Vikings. The Giants are coming off that Sunday Night Football win against the Commanders, where some stuff happened at the end of the game, but a win is a win. They won the game, so that's all I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna talk about some of the calls that could have been or could have been. It was a referee game, I'll say that. And the Vikings are coming off that just legendary performance that we talked about at the beginning of the video. So yeah, for this game, I'm just gonna be taking the Vikings. They had an amazing performance. I've been talking down on them, but I like what I saw from this one. That game against the Colts, where they looked like they were down and out, I liked the resolve that they brought, and just that they didn't give up. I like that about that team. They didn't give up. I like that they had to go through all the hardships and fought back. They didn't give up. I can't really just express that enough, that they didn't give up. It looked like it was awful. Everything was going wrong. Referee, they had so much bad luck. The referees, there were so many plays that should have been touchdowns, 2 return touchdowns that were just called dead plays. Man, everything was going wrong that game, but they won it, and you gotta give them credit for that. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking the Vikings. After that is the Bengals versus the Patriots. Now the Patriots are coming off that loss to the Raiders, where they threw an interception instead of going into overtime. I guess you can call it an interception, right? I guess that's what it's technically called, I guess. They threw it back. It was when you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they had that play where they really could have just sent it into overtime, but they did some tomfoolery. And the Bengals were in a kind of a close game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a game that I didn't expect that at all. I thought, they would just steamroll the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers put up a fight, and, Tom Brady, I think it was like a 17-point loss, his first in his career. So yeah, that's very interesting. But, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are legit. They're a really good team this year. So when it comes for this matchup, even though the Patriots have a really good defense, I'm still going to take the Bengals. The Raiders put up 30 on the Patriots defense. Now, it was also because of that fumble or interception, whatever you want to call it. I trust Joe Burrow to put up points. So yeah, give me the Bengals for this game. After that is the Texans versus the Titans. The Titans are coming off that close loss to the Chargers. It came down to a field goal. Ryan Tannehill did get hurt in that game, but he did tough it out, and he played the whole game. And the Texans are coming off that overtime loss where Davis Mills fumbled the game away to the Chiefs. As of right now, it looks like Tannehill is going to try to play. So I'm going to kind of assume that he is going to play this game. And because of that, I'm going to be taking the Titans. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans made this game close. Davis Mills has been playing actually pretty decent, but I still like the Titans. I still like their coach, and I still like what they got going on over there. You know, they've been winning more games. They've been in more games than the Texans. So yeah, I gotta take the Titans. It's just the smart idea, you know. After that is the Commanders versus the 49ers. This game is a no-brainer. Give me the 49ers and that defense and Brock Purdy, who's looking like he's really good. But I'm not gonna try to overhype Brock Purdy. He's looking good. You know, he's looking really good for where he was drafted and everything. But we gotta see how it goes on in the season. But for this game, I think he's probably gonna look really good against the Commanders. So yeah, give me the 49ers and Brock Purdy. And then we have one of the most anticipated games, but it's probably looking like it's not going to be as hype as we all thought. The Eagles versus the Cowboys. As of recording, we just found out about Jalen Hurts' injury, just the severity of it, and it's looking like he's not going to play maybe like the next 2 games, which is really awful because this is the game that everybody was really looking forward to. You know, we have Micah Parsons really saying Jalen Hurts is just a system quarterback. So there was a lot of just like, you know, hype going into this game. It's a divisional game. You know, there was a lot of hype for this game, and it's looking like it's not going to be, you know, as hype as it was. You know, we're going to have Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania is back for this game. So it doesn't hit the same as Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, you know, but that's just the way it goes. So it's going to be Gardner Minshew most likely against Dak Prescott. And yeah, for this game, it's kind of going to be very hard to pick. We haven't seen Gardner Minshew in forever, really. And Gardner Minshew's been, you know, I think Gardner Minshew's an okay quarterback. I think he's not anywhere near Jalen Hurts, that's for sure, but he can win you games. He can have moments. That's why there was the whole Minshew mania. He had a ton of moments. And the Cowboys and Dak Prescott have just been so, oh my god, I don't even know. They've just been so cowboy. They just disappoint. They always disappoint. And I honestly feel like they're just going to disappoint this game again. I really feel like they're going to let down the Cowboys nation and just Dallas, and they're going to lose this game to Gardner Minshew. I just have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm going to be taking the Eagles on this one, and it's mainly just because the Cowboys always find a way to disappoint. Now after that, it's going to be the game of the year for sure, the Raiders versus the Steelers. Now you already know who I'm rocking with. I am taking the Steelers. The Steelers looked amazing last week against the Panthers. You know, I think we just gotta say it. They looked really good. You know, offensively, they looked like they were rolling. The run game was there. And defensively, we held them. And I think Kenny Pickett's going to be back for this game. And I'm expecting, you know, all I want for Christmas is a Kenny Pickett breakout game, national TV. And I think we're going to get it. So I'm going to be taking the Steelers on this game. Give me Kenny Pickett, man. Kenny Pickett comes back. He's going to have a breakout game. I guarantee it. I'm not even thinking about what the Raiders are going to do. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, who? Give me Kenny Pickett, man. Give me Kenny Pickett, Deontay Johnson, 20 catches. Nah, I'm just being crazy, but yeah, give me the Steelers. So I'm just gonna pick my team every time. But I liked what I saw this week. I really did. I thought they were playing pretty good football, and I really do think if Kenny Pickett comes back and he plays decent, I think he just got to do the Trubisky role just a little better, and we win this game. We win this game very easy. We won it against the Panthers, but you know, the Raiders have an explosive offense. You know, they can have an explosive offense, and our secondary always gets burns, so Devontae Adams can really, you know, take away. You just have an explosive game, you know, so it's not going to be as easy as I was saying. It's really going to be a kind of a close game, I feel like, but I'll give the edge to the Steelers because they're my favorite team. Now we move on to the 3 Christmas games, and the first one is Green Bay versus the Dolphins. And as of recording right now, I'm watching it on my little tablet, and Green Bay is really taking care of the Rams. And the Dolphins, like we already talked about, were in that close game against the Bills. I thought Tua played really well in that game. I didn't think he was going to do it. I honestly thought he was going to have another bad game, but he played really well. I still think Tua is forcing balls. You know, I feel like sometimes sometimes he goes for like the 20-yard play on a 3rd down when he should just go for like the 1st down, you know? So I feel like he's forcing balls sometimes, but I don't know. We got to see how that goes. You know, obviously they have an explosive offense, so it can work. You know, we've seen him throw the ball and it's just boom, touchdown, you know? So I understand why he does it, but sometimes I wish he just had a little bit more patience and just, you know, get the 1st down. And yeah, like I said, Green Bay's having their way with the Rams right now, but it's the Rams. You know, their defense isn't that good. For this game though, I'm going to be taking the Dolphins. I like their offensive power, and I thought they looked really good against the Bills. and they got to start winning games. So yeah, give me the Dolphins for this one. After that is the Broncos versus the Rams. Now the Broncos have started to look better offensively. They've been able to score more points than 15, but they're still very iffy. I personally can't bank on them to play this well again. However, against the Rams, it's very possible that they can play this well again, because the Rams aren't that good defensively, or at least they haven't been this year. However, there's probably a chance that Aaron Donald plays this game, and there's also a chance that Russell Wilson is back for this game. I don't know, for some reason I'm just kind of feeling the Rams on this game, and so I'm going to be taking the Rams. And lastly, for Sunday Night Football, Christmas Day, it is the Buccaneers versus the Cardinals. Give me Tom Brady, man. You know, the Arizona, if they had Kyler Murray, it'd probably be a different game. It'd probably be a little bit closer, but because of not having Kyler Murray, because of his injury, I'm going to be taking Tom Brady. And lastly, we have Monday Night Football, the Chargers versus the Colts. And for this game, I'm going to be taking the Chargers, no question. I think it's a very easy game for the Chargers. They looked pretty good against the Titans. You know, it was a close game, but I like what I saw from them. We already talked about it. The Colts had that awful, just disastrous loss to the Vikings. I don't think the Colts play that well again. I think that was a lot of luck. A lot of referee involvement was in that game. And I don't think they play that well again, especially against the Chargers. So yeah, I'm going to be taking the Chargers and Justin Herbert. And yeah, that is it for week 16 picks. Let me know in the comments what games you're looking forward to the most this week. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next NFL predictions video.